My name is Phillips. I've been training parkour in Cambridge for about 7 years now. I grew up here and it's always been my preferred place of training. So the earliest signs of parkour in Cambridge were shown in the book The Night Climbers of Cambridge. It was basically some guys from the university who started a society because they enjoyed climbing, and the university had great buildings that had a lot of opportunities for climbing. They did a lot of horrible climbs, climbs that we wouldn't even do. They showed some earlier signs of parkour, like they actually did a gap which is known as the Senate House Leap, with a rope tied around their waist. So it was kind of sketchy, but it was like they were climbers. They didn't do parkour. There was no such thing as parkour back then. So they were just merely getting across from one obstacle to another to actually continue with their climbing. So it's quite cool to read about. The first real parkour videos I saw were actually from Cambridge, from a group called the TCT. Owen and Jin were part of the TCT, and they were sort of at the forefront of the parkour scene in the UK at the time.
So they'd just be training and I'd just be like trying to vault stuff at the side, and that was about it for a little while, because I was just this annoying little weird kid. They kind of showed me things and kind of did talk about better ways of training and not worse ways of training, but it wasn't like they were tutoring me or anything, because I'm sure they wouldn't want to be treated like that. Vice versa, no one does. I think it's better to kind of communicate or whatever, just have fun and blah blah blah.
And I'm sure they were the reason a lot of people sort of started and carried on training in Cambridge. They made a lot of videos back in the day as well, like the first real videos I saw, one of the Boxing Day video. There was actually a lot of stuff in that video that is still quite impressive by today's standards, and they really did sort of set the path, if you like, for people training in Cambridge, and it sort of opened people's eyes to the opportunities and the spaces that we have around here. So I think those videos from Owen and Jin, they played a big part in influencing the tracers of today. This is Iron Rails. We always meet here. It's a great place to for everyone to find, and people that visit Cambridge to train as well. It's like everyone, if you ask someone on the street where Lion Yard is, then they can tell you, so it's quite easy to find for everyone, and obviously it's in like the town centre. So
we just always end up here because I don't know why. Sometimes we'll be walking, talking about where to go, and then none of us kind of meaning to walk this way, we'll just end up here. But this spot has changed, probably the most out of all spots in Cambridge over the past 8 years. That horrible weird brain didn't used to be here. There was like some kind of curved wall and some phone boxes. And then they like knocked down some of it, and there was some scaffolding. And then there was a little bench and like a rail and a wall, and you could underbar it if you were small enough, or you had the skill. And then there's a tree, and now there's this. It's all a bit ugly and modern if you ask me, but it is more fun.
Ressens le boom dans mes habitudes, mais jamais sans le vide. Crois-moi, l'équilibre renforcer la nuque. Combien d'années sans stagner, sans stagner, à tout donner, encore stagner. M'acheter là, t'inquiète, man, encore trop down pour rouler les gros trucs à faire planer. Maybe I can, je veux dire, on peut les faire spammer. C'est scandaleux comme quand Watson va leur sucrer parler.
People in Cambridge know this isn't my favourite spot. It's one of my least favourite spots, but it's always here, and it's always a reliable place to come back to if you do want to do that sort of thing. I've had a lot of fun here, and you can see from loads of videos that people post online, like Professor Longhair, Big Chief. Anyone that visits Cambridge really tends to show some shots from Lion Yard. This is the Museum of Zoology. It's part of the university, like a lot of the places we train at, and it's really one of the first places I trained at when I started back in 2007. We've had a long-running relationship with the security here. They do their jobs, but they do it in a nice way, and they're friendly to us. This is probably one of the first places where I did something that really, truly scared me. So it's a good place for people of all sort of abilities as well, because It's like it's almost as if it was built for training arm jumps and stuff like that, because you've got like the sort of the small arm jump right at the end, and then in later years like you've got the next arm jump along, then finally this one here. So it's also one of the only undercover spots that we have in Cambridge, and it's great. Like it's great at night as well. It's lit up, and you know most of the walls stay dry, so it's good for training any time of the year. Yeah, you can see the different arm jumps in a lot of videos. Like, to be honest, this was one of the most popular spots in Cambridge before it was anti-climb painted. So, but yeah, like we still come here and train here quite a lot. And to be honest, the security guards, the first time back after they painted the walls, they just asked us like, "Why are you here? Surely there's nothing here for you now." And we said, "Well, like, to be honest, there's still quite a lot to be done here." So we do have a problem with losing spots occasionally. I mean, Heidelberg Garden's probably the most iconic spot from Cambridge from the early scene up until 2008 or so. That's actually gone now, and that was a really, really fun place to train. A lot of pigeon spikes being put up at certain different spots.
Can't really train up there anymore. There's pigeon spikes everywhere, and they normally kick you off really quickly anyway because there's CCTV. I think it's a shame, but I think it is their property, and fair enough. I think it is a bit of a cop-out. I wouldn't do it. If I owned a building and people were jumping on it, I probably wouldn't prevent them from jumping on it, especially if they hadn't actually caused any real damage. But that's me, and I don't own any properties, and I probably wouldn't because I'm not that smart with business sense.
At Castle Hill, council offices, they put up a sign saying they can't jump, and they put some barriers up over the rooftop, and I think that's pathetic, you know. There's so many other issues, and those kids are just having a good time. Great exercise, they're enjoying themselves. I think it's cool. I think the council should be a bit more lenient.
Nice one, man.
All right.
Thanks very much.
Yeah, cool.
Yes, obviously the council are trying to stop us from jumping on places because of various complaints. Apparently they've got a theory that the rooftops that we train on in Cambridge, we are actually kind of, not as our main goal, but as our side goal, trying to learn ways that we can break into people's houses and rob stuff. That's what it said in the papers. It's not like they've got like a diamond or anything, like cat burglary maybe. If the job was right, maybe we'd lean towards that, but not, do you know what I mean, random theft. It's not on. You alright, how are you doing?
And the police were generally pretty friendly, tend to just understand. A lot of them know what we're doing now, whereas when we started they didn't really quite understand. We'd have a lot of shouting at us and a lot of aggression towards us, but now, like, over the last few years, it's nice to see how the scene has developed, and with that the security and the police have also sort of come to understand what we do, so that's nice. It's not all bad though, because we are still finding new spots. I mean, we've got the Bingo Mission and Mannequin, Magnum spots that we all found. Most of these new places are rooftop spots, which kind of sets Cambridge apart from other locations, I think, because it's quite nice to be able to train on rooftops, and they're always different as well. You have the same sort of setups on sort of walkways and I don't know, gardens and handrails and that sort of thing, but when you go on a roof they're always different, which is nice. Back in 2007 when I started, I was 14 years old, so I was one of the younger generations coming through, and it's nice for me to now, at 21 years old, say that I can see the younger generations coming in and progressing like we used to, and it is really quite refreshing to see that. People come to Cambridge from all around. I mean, just yesterday we had a few guys down from Japan, so that was really interesting to meet those guys, and there's constantly people coming here from all over the world, so I think the videos that come out of Cambridge are largely responsible for the amount of people that come here just to train. I mean, it creates a really good atmosphere for us all to train, and you're always practicing with new people, which is nice. So you can show each other new challenges and that sort of thing, and you always have a new perspective on the spots, even though I've been training here for 7 years and I still find things that I didn't see back that long ago.
Cambridge is lovely, it's fun to jump around. Safe, peaceful little community, very small, a little bit of a bubble. But yeah, I think that's all I can say really. Good coffee in Cambridge as well, especially if I make it.